good at that NFL Network job, you know, because he looks like he's got a couple years left in him.
McVay, of course, referring to Talib's work on NFL Total Access here while he was hurt. He definitely has a future in television, but the Rams can certainly use his help in the secondary right now. After his first appearance on Total Access, he snatched Scott Hansen's chain, so that's how he ingratiated himself to the NFL Network family. No, he didn't do that, but he's done a terrific job for us appearing.
Part of me thought that really happened. I was like,
would have been a good bit. That was good.
Well, I saw Nate, you know, maybe a little skeptical about it, so I just want to clarify that.
7 hours of commercial-free football. Love Hansen. That's my guy. Mess with him.
Can you imagine a keep doing Hanson's job for a Sunday? That'd be so fun.
Oh, man.
That would be awesome.
Let's let him moonlight on the
Comedy Jam.
Yeah. Oh, Scott did his job, too.
Great stuff from Will. Time again for some Good Morning Fantasy. It is Tuesday, which means it's time for waivers. You're trying to get into your fantasy playoffs. Let's start with a guy who, by the way, there's no bye weeks this week.
We're
done with bye weeks. Everybody's in. Everybody's on deck. But let's start with the guy who wakes up feeling dangerous. Danger. Baker Mayfield. We're going to go with him because if you look at what he's done, 7 touchdowns, no picks over the last 2 weeks, guys. As you can see, Goff, Mahomes, Breeze are the only dudes who've outscored him over the last 2 games. And it's the Texans on deck this week. And they just gave up over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns to Marcus Mariota. The Bengals, again, in your fantasy championship, by the way. So looking in the long ball, long game, you're going to like Baker Mayfield's odds.
Yeah, he's going up against Hugh Jackson in the fantasy championships for you. Yeah, I'd sign up for that.
I like it. Maybe they'll hug it out.
They might.
We should get extra points in our fantasy team if he hugs him. 5 points.
I think there's an X factor, Kay. I think Baker's one of those guys who plays well emotionally. Some guys can't. I think he will.
PPH, points per hug. Next,
PPH.
Eagles running back Josh Adams. So he's owned in a lot of leagues, but you have to pick him up if he's not. He's taken over the workload for the Eagles. 22 carries. He had a touchdown, close to 100 yards. He has over 150 total yards and 2 scores over the last 2 games, so he's doing it week to week. And he's got the Redskins. They've given up 100 or more total yards to running backs in the last 5 games. And if you look at who he's outscored, it's pretty notable what he's been doing. Outscoring guys like Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, and the great James Conner. Josh Adams needs to be owned and start him against Washington. Another running back for you, Austin Eckler. Listen, Melvin Gordon not going to play. We don't know how long he's going to be out. They've got a game against the Steelers on Sunday night. He was the 5th highest scoring running back in PPR leagues last week. I mean, you're a running back, Kyle. You know the position in and out. It's that offensive line that might be the most important factor here.
Chargers' O-line is awesome. I love Pouncey this year. I can't believe more than half the leagues don't own Eckler. Yeah. What are these people doing?
Fun guy, too.
Come on.
Now, Steelers have given up 100 or more total yards to a running back in 3 straight weeks. If the shoe fits,
you gotta wear it.
Get an air guitar. There we go. Wide receiver now.
Okay.
Let's go the Bucs wide out. Adam Humphries. He has a thing with Jameis. There's some sort of chemistry there. He's averaging 5 catches for 62.5 yards and a touchdown a game. He's averaging a touchdown a game over the last 4 weeks. That's pretty good. And he's outscored guys like Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton, Tyler Lockett in that time frame. Shredded the Panthers out of the slot in their first matchup. He gets the Panthers yet again. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns against them. He had 82 yards against them. I don't see why he wouldn't do that again. Adam Humphries is definitely playable week 13. Finally, another wideout for you. I could have gone David Moore. He's awesome, too. I decided to go DJ Moore.
The other Moore.
Yeah.
Yes, I like either Moore is good with me. Forevermore. Evermore. Demi Moore. Really?
More is not less.
Good job. So he's broken out. He's averaging like 8 catches a game, 124 yards a game with a touchdown. He led the Panthers, by the way, 17 targets over these past 2 weeks. He's a thing. You see Cam taking more shots than he really ever has. Funchess, by the way, dealing with a bit of a back injury, so more targets will be funneled his way. And the Bucs are the top 5 most generous to wide receivers. DJ Moore is doing his thing.
No doubt.
First round pick. Hey, Kyle, has Demi Moore film?
I like Indecent Proposal, actually.
G.I. Jane,
I think it's very compelling.
I say Few Good Men.
Few Good Men? I think you say Striptease.
No striptease at this table, huh? I was waiting for that one to come up.
St. Elmo's Fire fans, come at us.
Here we have the waiver wire targets. Grab these guys and thank me later. Coming up next on